2, 3, go! The most astoundingly impeccable, dark practitioners of what I would call quantum physics. For those of you who are smart enough to figure out what I mean by that. But they're not going to ever let that, they know the secrets of existence.
And that's what I always said, if they can control it, why can't we?
Well, the key is we can't.
Myself away from that.
Sure, absolutely.
Away from the bullshit. I shift myself away from it. And I'm not even doing it consciously anymore now, it's just happening. I'm not focusing on it. What am I going to experience? I'm going to experience what I'm focusing on.
Absolutely. So, I mean, that's like, when you change what you look at physically changes. Yeah, that's a deep one.
Yeah, it's too late for me to even get that deep. Oh. Yeah, that always bothered me when people... Because it's really hard for me to say, no, you shouldn't be paying attention to what's going on out there. Because I don't care what you do. You do whatever you want.
Right.
You know, but I'm like, hey, look, if you're going to watch the news every day and you're going to run home and watch CNN and watch the war, and you know, that's what you're going to experience. You're going to experience that.
For sure, you're going to manifest that into your life.
Yeah. Right.
That's going to become your reality.
Right, and that's, you know, and if you, so you don't want to like just constantly focus on that all the time. Shift away from it where it's not, you know. Okay, so I mean, that's the thing I hear about. Oh, people walking. Oh, did you hear Trump? This, that. We might go to war, and all that is to me. It's a movie that was a bad movie that was put out that won an award that I didn't want to see. That's all it is.
Basically, for those who know,
they're living that.
who they are.
You know,
nobody hardly knows who they are. That's
I feel like there's a shift going on as far as vibration. I think the higher vibration. I think a lot of us are moving into like a 5D kind of thing.
Oh, no doubt.
And you know, it's either, but there's a lot of us are just holding on to 3D like this.
So, to quote Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Oh God, don't do that.
He says, I believe it was Neil deGrasse Tyson, I'm probably wrong, but he says that...
Hold on, let me shut the video off.
Physical reality is nothing but an illusion, although it's a very persistent illusion, it is an illusion nonetheless.
Who wrote that for him?
That's a good question, because... pretty much, that is what he is. He is an actor, just like Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Oh, that fraud.
Well, I've heard people say he died. What's he still doing here?
Clones.
Yeah.
Okay, so now, in that answer, that was quick. That answers all the, you know, Nichelle. Well, see, when I first got into Colorado, I heard on the news that Nichelle Nichols died, a horror from Star Trek. The original Star Trek. Nichelle Nichols died. I was like, oh wow, okay, she's joining the DeForest Kelly, you know, James Dillon. I think he was on the trip with him. And I said, all right. A year goes by, I hear Nichelle Nichols died, and they're going to sprinkle her ashes in space. Look, that was my trigger point. I'm like, wow, wait a minute. First off, I already heard that she died, and now they're sprinkling her ashes in space. Well, the woman's still alive.
It's very convenient, huh?
Yeah.
So I mean, you know, for me and for others, you know, like with Muhammad Ali and geez, who else? David Bowie and like and Jerry Lewis, especially the comedian Jerry Lewis died 20 years ago or 15 years ago, or whatever. He just died a couple months ago. You know, yeah, clone. That's an answer. But why would they do that? To push that? That would only be to push the Mandela Effect, knowing it was coming, or
have you ever heard of the Project Blue Beam?
Yes.
So I mean, that would even incorporate directly Project Bluebeam. If you can essentially manipulate people's view of life and death, and you can just all of a sudden just even like these mass shootings, you can sweep. It'll be in mainstream news.
Just what I was getting ready to
And
say.
then 15 days later, the story will change and nobody gives a fuck.
Well, we want to get rid of the guns. We got to get rid of the guns.
Okay.
But this has to do with
the shooter in Vegas, right? How does a dead guy commit a mass shooting?
Oh, he was dead.
I'll show you.
I didn't look at what Vegas. The Vegas
It's from Colorado.
Hold on. He died long before the Vegas shooting.
Really?
Yeah. So how does a dead guy commit a mass shooting?
We all remember him dying in another timeline, shifted into the one where he didn't.
No,
Or
he
you're
killed
saying
himself
clone.
after he shot
Or you're
everybody,
saying,
right?
yeah, he was just clear. That guy was cloned.
I'm saying that's a CIA plant for itself.
That's
But
MK Ultra.
But, you know, has anybody heard anything about that since then? It pretty much just up and
That's
vanished.
it. It's going, yeah.
My
Just
thing with-
same with
It's the fear thing.
Newtown.
for sure,
These things aren't
if
real.
they keep you in fear,
To me, they're not
yeah,
real
they
at
can
all.
manipulate you.
I get that they might be happening physically somewhere and somebody might die. Nobody cares. They don't care. I get
Exactly.
that. They don't care. You know, I get that. So yes, something, you know, may physically be going on, but it's planned. It's planned out. It's just a
Stephen
fear.
Paddock's death certificate right there.
They want everybody to fear, be in fear all the time, so that they can't harness their own emotions.
Well,
they
and
don't
they
know what their
cannot
own
seize
emotions
their
are.
own power at that point.
Right? How are you going to create if you don't know what emotions and what you want, and you think you want all the shit on TV? You don't know what you want.
Well, and see, these people who get, I would say the people who actually get cloned are people who are used by the system to keep people in check. Those are the only people that these secret societies will clone, are the people that they can completely use as an icon to manipulate the masses. Point blank and simple. That's why it's entertainers, movie stars, athletes, politicians, big businessmen like George Soros with 9 heart transplants. He was born in like 1890 and he's still alive in 2018. Are you fucking kidding me?
He
No
actually had
way.
a drink with Doc Holliday here once, I think. When I died, right before that, I think.
You don't just get 9 heart transplants and keep living.
No, you should keep shifting or you're cloning. I mean, it could be a combination of both.
Or all of these people are very deep into occultic knowledge and they know the deeper principles of reality. And so they, like you said, they could just shift. They could,
If they know how to do it.
they could, at the moment upon death, you know, if you know exactly what you're doing, you're not going to die or go to some heaven or hell. You're going to go exactly where and when you intended to go. And that's it.
Yeah.
So,
You just worn that vessel out. Is all that
this is just a skill ship.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Ship, I love it.
You know, that's all it is a fucking. I call it a meat vessel.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
if the body is a temple, then I am the God in whom this temple is dedicated, or I wouldn't be able to run this body that they call a temple.
Yep.
Never expected this conversation this late at night. I'm in here trying to explain the Mandela Effect and then get away from the Mandela Effect. I give them a little bit of seeds or whatever. Plant the seeds. If they get it, they get it. You know, I've been just running around waking people up or trying to. Am I supposed to? I don't even think so.
For sure.
I think I'm supposed to. I think, you know, it's go out there, do the best I can do. That's why I did that radio thing on YouTube. And, although I swear I kept saying, no, I don't want it to be produced. Did I show you a picture of it? I don't know where my phone is. Oh, it's up here. Unexpected. You got it. You picked it right up. Everybody else was like, yellow, yellow.
I thought it was yellow and black.
Yellow and black. It was yellow and black.
Red and white. It is.
What shape is it?
It's a triangle.
What was it when it was yellow and black?
I don't know what it was yellow and black, but you're right. It's red and white.
Still
And it's
triangle.
an upside down triangle.
It is an upside down triangle.
If you're defining the point, it's the bottom. An equilateral triangle.
All those Mandela effects I got in front of me on that thing, and I can't think of any. Like, okay, how about if I said,
Wait, I saw a box of cornflakes in there. What's with the cornflakes?
Kellogg's cornflakes, it used to be spelled with a K for some people. Me as well. I remember corn being spelled with a K.
Like the band.
Yes, exactly like the band. And I thought, hey, maybe the band's in town, that's why they're doing it, because it was a C for me. Then it was a K, and then it went back to a C. So I kept switching back and forth, shifting.
Like regional marketing?
I thought of that. I'm not going to deny that that's possible, but what about a movie, Silence of the Lambs? The most famous line in that movie, what would it be?
Hello, Clarice.
Would you believe that line's never been said in that movie? Never been said in that
I
movie.
feel like I just walked into a trap.
Well, you're in a trap, all right. You're definitely in a trap.
Wait, so what? That line has never been said.
No, apparently, what they're saying online is what is said in that scene is "Good morning." That's it.
Morning.
That's all he says. Instead of "Hello, Clarice." Yeah, Luke, I am your father. Never said. What color is C-3PO?
Brass. Is that a color?
I'll go with brass, sure. What color are his legs?
Also brass.
In this timeline, one of his legs is silver.
Wait, in this timeline?
In this one, yeah, in this one. The one we're in now. Yeah, he keeps changing too. What else? There's songs, lines. Please don't fall off that stool. Okay. Still. I didn't even know I was videoing at all. You're fine.
Maybe you were.
Wait, no, I'm still thinking about Cynthia.
See. Jump.
Universe. Just the same as the Mandela Effect.
Similar, not the same.
Well,
Similar.
yeah, similar. But that's all deja vu is you're witnessing a similar event in an alternate universe.
Have you noticed any Mandela?
Plenty.
Oh yeah. Have you noticed any? What's the oldest one you've seen? I said McDonald's.
Well, I was born in 1990, so
Yeah, so that's not going to help me none.
not really. But I am old enough to remember the fact that Mandela died in prison, and all of a sudden he's not dead in prison.
Cool.
I mean, I'm old enough to notice the Bernstein Bears were spelled one way, and now they're spelled differently. There's plenty of synchronicity to be seen anywhere.
Do you think we're multi-dimensional beings?
Absolutely. We exist already in 3 different worlds at all times, and that would be the physical world, the emotional world, and the mental world. And then if you want to take in other people's perceptions, you start getting into 7th, 8th realities, and that's like
You've heard this before. Yeah.
oh, because he's asked the similar questions.
Yeah. I mean, it never hurts to learn and I mean, you witness and experience things that there's no explanation for. know what I'm saying? Like,
How about shared
me
dreams?
Me and him meet exactly. Me and him meet in the astral
Oh yeah.
plane, and share dreams quite frequently from Colorado Springs to Denver, and well, now it'll probably happen. And I live Moose Haven.
Well, I mean, it's not even that. They're the subatomic level of reality with the way quantum mechanics and quantum entanglement and quantum physics actually works is beyond astounding. I mean,
That was profound.
Right? Yeah. Surprise, surprise. I mean, the science is there as proof for these philosophical allegories, and to be able to tether your conscious mind into what is true and what is false, so you're not led in some delusion, if you will, a manipulated reality that you don't control.
So you can't control.
You can control everything about every second of every scenario.
Keep it up, brother.
Exactly.
That I like. That I believe. That I feel. It's just we don't believe it.
Well, of course not.
That's what the problem is.
Well,
If we don't believe it. If we believed it,
at a species level, no. We are still very deeply locked into the matrix because people are stuck on Roman games.
yeah.
Or
Empire building is not going to go away for a while, I don't believe.
no. As long as there's a fucking fictitious line that means something, you know, it's always going to continue. You know, but do you want a one world government? So
So what do we do over here? Create or try and get out?
I believe it's got to be a balance of both destruction and life.
yeah. Have you ever seen? There's like pictures of Buddha with like it'll have like coins coming into his hand and coins going out of his hand. That's all the universe is you know yin and yang, give and take. It's all.
Okay, he sounds like you got one.
You can't get without giving. And you can't,
of course.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, like you said, the empire building, that's like a necessary evil for.
Yeah, but he was more asking about like microcosm and macrocosm. We are literally 100% the universe incarnate that is conscious of itself, that can change itself. So, basically, all we are is literally the universe in existence itself, learning about itself to move and evolve. Like Eve, Adam, the atom evolves. Eve, that's us.
The atom evolves, huh? Wow. It's a Bible quote.
And it's, but I don't personally believe in the Bible, but there are many philosophical truths hidden to a person with an occult eye and understanding.
It's everywhere, and they all intertwine if you're looking. You know.
Well, everything is going to intertwine. Everything is connected, literally.
Yeah.
Everything. So that's just destiny.
Yeah. It's just how are you going to learn about it? You know, really through Buddhism, through
Experience
Yeah.
is my choice.
You know, experience is what I've had. I've had experiences that like just they're, but it's the way I interpret those experiences too.
For sure.
I mean, when the stars came at me, and they came at me like this from all different directions, 2.5, 3 minutes, whatever it was, that told me that the stars aren't suns with planetary orbit around them.
Yeah.
I don't. That's what it said to me. I mean, no, I wasn't tripping. I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't on anything. I just had an epiphany that you weren't going to prove to me it's a ball. You weren't going to prove to me it's flat. You're not going to prove to me either way.
For sure.
So, and that's just what, you know, what the stars, you know, bet they're on UFOs.
It's quite possible.
I figure they're intelligent beings.
And that would be why all of the ancient cultures named their gods were really the planets.
Yeah.
All of their gods were really allegories for planets and qualities of those planets. For example, another lame Bible quote. Think of the 12 disciples. That's the 12 months of the year, the 12 houses of the zodiac.
Okay. Could be interpreted that way. I can see that.
And how they where the sun revolves around. Even if you think of Da Vinci's painting of the Last Supper, if you look at the solar cycle, you can see and track precisely how the sun moves.
Yeah, that's one of the Mandela Effects, the Last Supper. There's a box supposedly down at his feet. Some of them have sandals. There's glass instead of wooden chalices. Now they're all glass. I forget what else. There's a couple, and those pictures have changed. We've changed again, for sure. Interesting. Thanks. That'll be nice.
Yeah, you're welcome. Hi, YouTube.
Yeah, these are my new Mandela affected friends. What are your names?
My name is Dan.
Dan?
Mike.
Mike. Yeah. So I have them come in here and I'll keep interviewing them. Get some more philosophical things.
The tint of all of his collective parts changed.
Since the first movie, I mean...
Like, you know, like sometimes they look more like silvery brass and sometimes they're more gold brass. But I don't know that like one of his legs would be a different color than the other.
You remember the movie, the vampire movie with Tom Cruise in it?
Yeah.
What was it called? Interview something.
Are you trying to bait me?
I'm baiting you again, girl. Interview.
Okay, I'm gonna say interview with a vampire.
And that's how I recall it too. You know what that means.
It's not in our current reality.
That's correct. In this reality, it is interview with the vampire. It doesn't even sound right.
I mean, I've only seen it once.
Okay. I mean, that's it.
But like, and I've seen many movies that I don't remember the names of.
But
so.
you weren't getting over Berenstein.
Well, that's the thing is like, how much of it is like the fallacy of memory versus.
Do you work for Google?
No.
So I'm just wondering.
No.
Because if you Google it, it says everybody's misremembering all this stuff.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So that's I guess my question is how much of it is a misremembrance versus a shift in
Some of it could be somebody misremembering. I'm not going to deny that. Some of it could be confabulation. That's what it's called.
Oh.
Some of it could be that. They've come up with that term, 2 years ago. I'm not buying it. There's too many things that I'm 100% sure on.
Oh, interesting. So it's
I'm not 100. All those things you saw around the little radio thing I got going on, I'm not 100% on all of those. And some of them are like, well, okay, deer can swim across the Great Lakes. Did you know deer can swim that far?
Which dimension
all of
and
them.
which Great Lake?
Well, this dimension and the biggest Great Lake. I don't know. I probably bigger than that. I mean, boy, he wants to go bad, don't he? He's like, I'm out of here.
I'm just
Rounding them up. You want to switch? That's looking them up.
not at all.
Everybody say goodnight. Let's say goodnight to the camera.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll be here tomorrow. You gonna be here?
That's why I waited down here. I thought maybe
purchased a bunch of Mandela Effect books. And I'm going to go ahead and assess the first two I went through. I actually read two of them. This first one, the Mandela Effect Journal. I cannot pronounce that name. Lenny. Okay. Beginner's Guide to a Rising Phenomenon and Those Behind It. Okay. We got the first 19 pages, first 18 pages are describing the Mandela Effect theories, the Mandela Effects in a nutshell. But then we got from page 20 to page 100 is where you are to write your notes on the Mandela Effect. Okay. That's good, because you couldn't go out and buy a $5 piece of paper. Now, in fairness, so far I haven't read this, but I'm going to right now, and I'll be right back, because it's going to take me 2 minutes. All right, this will be the clearest way to do this. First, they just go into Nelson Mandela. Why is he associated with this? False memories comes up. I got a paragraph here of an extreme example. You know, you've always, I don't even know, can I do that? Yeah. You've always eaten a red apple. You wake up one day, it's blue. Hey, why are the apples blue? Hey, they've always been blue. Talking about, we're talking 4 lines on CERN and how it can be a computer. Normal change versus Mandela Effect. It just goes through what other people have already said. If you've been into the Mandela Effect, you've been experiencing it. You've been going through YouTube and Reddit and other people's theories and ideas. That's what this is. It's just, it's giving you examples. We got Skechers, Lion and the Lamb. What's the big deal if it's just a name change, a logo change? One or two here or there, I'd probably agree, but it's a lot, and they're saying that. Chapter 2 is Are You Affected? And they're giving you a bunch of tests. Darth Vader, Mirror, Mirror, Clarice, Sex and the City. And it's not bad. I mean, what they're writing here. I'm not thrilled with all this, the blank pages. I wanted to read something. It's not bad. It's not saying this is what it is and this is what it's not. But they are, they are saying what it's not. They're saying it's not, they're not saying it. So how can we know that our memories are real and not just confabulation? There are 3 main ways, and he gets into that. Len and PW get into that. So, and that's good. I read those. It's like, all right. This is good for somebody getting into the Mandela Effect or has known about it and would like a book to go back on, stay fresh. Lists some of the most popular changes. It lists quite a few of them. Wow, 4 or 5 pages of them. And it talks about those behind the Mandela Effect. They have CERN and D-Wave computer here, NASA, Google, computer stuff. It's all computer stuff. And then they have a few questions. What can you do about it? How can we spread the word? I think something very important here that they mention, and it's just a theory, but it seems like a very plausible one to me. They really think the Mandela Effects are tests to see how people react. I think these people feel that they didn't expect the massive people that have seen the changes to come out like this. They think the problem is we're all out there talking about it, and what they're doing is getting results from people and finding out what they can do to eventually make changes without any memory problems or internet residue. And when that happens, we're at the total mercy of the pushing of the buttons. So, but this book really pushes on. Well, it keeps talking about the computer. It's those behind the Mandela Effect. This person's pretty sure it's computer. So, as upset as I was when I first saw this book, it's an interesting read, the first 20 pages. I'd say that the most interesting was just the one page, final word from the authors. But so this is also another good beginner book, and it has some place to write in it. So maybe this is all right. I don't know. Let's see. Safeguard your memories with your Mandela Effect journal today. So, all right, that's book number 1, Mandela Effect Journal by Len and P.W. Here's our second book we have bought. Now, what gets me is this is his revised edition. I don't remember the first one. When I was looking these up, I was looking up for Mandela Effect books. And it was my understanding that Sasha Erickson's book was the first and only Mandela Effect book put out there in February, I believe. And it just says 2017. It doesn't say the month. But I do remember it was around February. And when I looked up when these 4 books I just got were published, all of them were published in July. But I didn't come across them until December. I thought that strange. But anyway, this one, says it's revised. I'm not sure if that means it's been out or put out or whatever. 2016, first edition. So apparently this was the first Mandela Effect book. It's called Alternate. Parallel Universes, Simulated Reality, CERN Memory Inaccuracy, and Artificial Intelligence. Now, I found this book interesting. He sincerely gears towards very interesting things that I think were touched on, but he kind of goes for it. He gives examples and theories, memory. I don't like that he was all over the... He's very diplomatic about it, so it's not that big a deal. We got Jay Wheeler. His examples, all the old examples, maybe, according to him, a couple new ones. But they're all old for anybody watching my videos. Then he goes into theories as far as memory and confabulation and the law of influence, which is his coined phrase, where a bunch of people start to believe something, everybody else starts to jump on board. Drinking the red Kool-Aid, that's how I would term that. Then he gets into CERN. Okay, he talks CERN. That's a theory that, okay, it's a computer program and it could be, he explains what CERN is and all. And then we got parallel universes. He goes into mirror universes and then talks about if the multi-universe is true. See, and he's very diplomatic with all this stuff because this is not his main theory. This is not the theory he likes the most. He's just spitting it out there in a couple of pages, which is fine. But then he gets into artificial intelligence and simulated reality, which he is a very strong proponent. He strongly feels this is what's going on. He does, I don't know how he states it, not verbatim, but he doesn't know. But this is where he's turning. I mean, this is his biggest theory, the one he likes the most. And he gets into computer games. You're playing computer games. He talks about that and how we could be those players or how we're not those players, I think would be more accurate, and why we couldn't be like that. I disagree. I disagree with a couple of things, but that doesn't mean, look, he could be totally on. Just the computer thing, I'm like, well, if we're in a computer program, and I mean, I've had the experience where I should have died and didn't. My avatar just reverted to an extra player. I did something that I got an extra player, an extra life. I don't see why that's impossible. It's not my favorite theory by any means, but I totally think that's possible. I mean, why not? Especially if he's saying that we could be in a computer program and we're actually, thousands of years ahead of ourselves right now with the technology, and we've projected ourselves back into the past to experience it as a computer game. Absolutely possible. I don't see anything wrong with that. He talks about the future and neural lenses. Now, this got a little flaky for me because starts talking about the wireless ultra-fine mesh brain-computer interface, where you put this thing on your head and it starts to integrate with your brain. It starts to become one with your brain. It's called neural laces. I mean, that sounds to me like, trying to make humans into artificial intelligence, trying to turn them into robots. And he does talk about that in here, too, about the different ways, the different things, if they put them together, that's what's going to happen, super intelligence and this other thing. He's talking about how, computers are beating humans in chess and everything else, and saying we potentially will be able to live in a future where we can preserve life without the body. Okay, well, that's something I don't want to get into. Why would you want to do that? Isn't the point of being physical to be physical? I mean, to me, he sounds very excited that we're going to be able to do whatever we want. Some people say in 20 years, some 100, and he's saying it could be in 10. And this guy seems excited. It's because you get to do whatever you want. But you're going to be half human, half computer, if I'm understanding. I just read this, and it's not degrading what humans have achieved thus far. There are some incredible creations, developments in technology in our world, and it's only getting better. Yeah, it wasn't bad. It wasn't a bad book. You know what he was talking about for sure. So, at first when I looked at this, I just thought, wow, what could be in here? Most of it's just stuff we already know, and, I really get upset with confabulation because I know that's not what it is. You know what? It could be that for some people. Some people might be misremembering things, and some people might be just drinking the red Kool-Aid. For me, no. There's theories backing. There are experiences backing my theories. So that's that book here. And I really did think that this was the first Mandela Effect book put out. Now, this is Stasha Erickson's book, and I've said it before, it's a great beginner book. I'm in it 4 times. What was written was a lot of YouTube comments, people talking back and forth and about their experiences, which I thought was great, because that's what people are going to need to see. They need to see what other people are going through so they can discern for themselves. But a lot of interesting things in this book. I thought this was the first one out, and apparently it was this one. And then hers would be second. This, and these other ones are all July. Now, I read through the books I just gave you. I still need to read The Mandela Affected Ascension. All right. This is by Roy Horn. I'm going to pause this, and when I'm done reading it, I'll give my assessment. This other one's actually scaring me. Well, okay. I mean, at first this scared me, but when he's saying this, see, and you know what's great about this? There's so many different theories. Any one of them could be right. From my experience, I think my consciousness is shifting through timelines, and I can actually manipulate it into certain directions. That doesn't mean you can't do that in a computer simulation. That doesn't mean I'm totally misremembering, because I'm having stuff shot in my head that's making me misremembering. I remember, maybe that's wrong. I don't know. One of these guys I was looking at in the book, I had to laugh because he said, "We really don't know." And I'm like, he's right. I said, I have theories based on experience, but he's right. We don't know. We're not that advanced. We don't have that technology. But some of the things where he was saying, "Oh, we don't know," I'm like, wait, but I have experience with that. So, and looking at these, I'm thinking, wow, my book's I'm just going to leave the way I set it up. I'm just going to keep going with it. I'm looking at these books, and I'm like, I'm already done. I just got to finish it up now. I kept thinking, I need 20,000 more words to make it a decent book. And, I don't want to put any more information than needs to be in. I don't want to add stuff. I'm like, I have 2 more, I'd say, chapters to write that are just kind of finishing up the book. Kind of stalled on it through the holidays. Next week, I'm supposed to talk to the publisher. One of the lessons I learned, well, we don't need to go into that now. That's for the Dark Files. Oh, yeah, I'm going to be putting out a series of videos where, I'm done work, I come up and I'll have all this going on in my head and I start firing it out. And hey, I'm smoking and I'm drinking and I'm playing with the cats and while I'm talking. It really should be edited, could be. I think I'm just going to call it the Dark Files and put it up. Or I don't know what I'm going to call it. I'm just going to put it up. Throughout the videos, I'm calling them the Dark Files. I don't know what it's going to be. But look for that. Look for that, and that's enough for this pause. And my next assessment will be on the Mandela Effect Ascension. I'm really, really enjoying this book. I'm only just started, but Roy Horn is writing from experience. At least that's what I'm getting. He's telling his story. It's not somebody else telling other people's stories. This guy's telling his stories. I'm really enjoying this book. And like I said, I just started. And I want to give you a full assessment, but I know I'm going to want to jump in here and there because just the way he writes. And it's funny. There's a, what's he say? I keep finding the flat earth information tied to the Mandela effect. Well, that's how I came across both of them. It was kind of together. It was one or the other. They were both together. Now let me finish this and get back to you guys. All right, I got to take a break. I'm really enjoying this book, Mandela Effect Ascension. It's funny because there's things in it. I'm like, oh, well, okay, I wouldn't have thought of it that way. And there's a lot of different words that he's using. I would just use different terminology. That's all it is. I didn't look at it that way. And there's information in here I wasn't aware of. It's just things he's picked up through his life that this is how he feels things are. But he's pretty strong and powerful about it. But this is all through his experiences, and if it's not through an experience, just some knowledge he has, that's what he tells you what it is. He tells you like it is. So I haven't really even gotten to the meat of it. I'm looking forward to that. But I got to take a break right now. I have things to do. I'll probably finish this. I don't know if it'll be tonight, probably tomorrow. So, and then we'll get to the other ones. Or the other one, the one that's left after that. I have tried this every which way. Let's do it again. Prince brought this on. That's right. He had the hairball thing going on, and he got very docile. Prince is the one that runs around up here, knocks everything down, screams and yells, meows all the time, always wanting attention, but won't let me pet him. As soon as I pet him, he runs away. Wants me to play all the time. He's a kitten. Okay. And Buttercup's the cuddler. But now all of a sudden he's the cuddler. Now maybe he's just not feeling good. I get that. But it brought on a conversation I had with Prince. I said, hey, are you the same consciousness that's in my kitty? And it hit me, I'm like, no, wait a minute. It's the same thing with people that I say, I'm in my own dimension and I'm interacting with aspects of everybody. Their dominant consciousness does not reside in the same dimension that my dominant consciousness resides in. And I'm interacting with those people, and basically it's for me how I would react with these people, no matter what the circumstance is. That's why,
so people will be there. Yeah, they're going to be very similar, especially if you're close and you're talking to them a lot. Their dominant consciousness is going to be in a dimension inside the same parameters, and it's very close. That just seems so simple to me. So no, it wasn't. It's not like I have a different being inside my cat, or people aren't different. I'm shifting into a timeline where they react differently. Okay, same with my cat, or he's just not feeling good. And this happened the full moon was at 6:36 this morning. And I'm always correlating that and thinking, because the last couple of days I felt some negativity, and I'll call it learning negativity, because it didn't really affect me. It was very mild for me, but I could see a lot going on around me with a lot of other people, and that's just I feel like it's a growing thing for them. Okay, I feel like it's a growing thing for them. So anyway, what I got coming up now is a bunch of videos. At the end of this, I'm going to talk about the trivia night with the book signing afterwards. But right now, I got a bunch of videos. I'm just trying to load off some content. Enjoy. So, I don't know if it was upside down or not, right? Coming up is a bunch of videos that I taped probably a month ago. Actually, there's a few of them that were last week when my proof came out. There's the back. There's my Buttercup's view. Oh, there she is. What? So at one point in that last video, I said that guy couldn't help me, or he said something like, well, I can't help because I was born in 1990. You saw the change in 79. It's quantum. He could have seen it in 89 like Nobleness D did. Or it might have been 98. And I'm not dyslexic, the years are all jumbled. But I was thinking about that. That was I misspoke there, or it was a wrong communication, because if it's quantum, people are going to see these things at different times when they're ready for it. I don't know how else to put it. Now, today, the 29th? March. Might be the 30th. Could be the 30th. I don't know. No, 29th. I'm going to be doing a trivia night. Right now it's tentatively set for the 19th of April at La Resistance in Leadville, Colorado. And I'll be doing trivia night, and afterwards I'm going to have a book signing. So that's that. So I'm going to go back to the questions I had, because I was going to do it a month ago, and they had problems here, closed the place down for a few days, so my thing was canceled, which was just as well, because I wasn't totally prepared. Here's your sangria. How you enjoying that? And I know it's only the proof, but
no, I'm really liking it. You've got a great style writing.
This group here asked me if I knew what the Mandela Effect was.
I was one of those things. I had a feeling you knew exactly what I was talking about. Yeah.
I started getting on 21 where it got into the UFOs and the little sparks of light that you saw when you were a child.
Oh yeah.
I understand that.
A whole chapter I didn't expect to put in.
I saw it as well. And,
what do you think of the cover?
I love the cover.
Really? Nice. Awesome.
Actually,
Like that too? Back.
Oh, I never even looked at the back.
Really?
This way.
Yeah, it's all my buddy John designed the cover and wrote all the, or drew all of the chapter art.
One man's true account of paranormal supernatural experience. This is only the beginning. There'll be another book coming soon.
I don't know if it's people just don't communicate properly or there's just a lot of, no, you didn't tell me that, and we didn't talk about that going on, or I didn't know that. I mean, it's just, and I'm like, no, we had the conversation. You were involved in the conversation. You spoke about it. No, I don't remember that. You know, I'm just like, you got to be kidding me. A lot of it going on.
I'm reading this excellent book that I found. It's called Mind Beyond Matter. Oh, it's written by an excellent author. And I'm very intrigued, and I need to continue reading, so please don't bother me.
Keep going, bro. That's just the proof.
You like that one, bro?
Awesome.
You got the American dream, but you ain't opening your fucking mouth because you're not debt free. We own you. Bye. Shut the fuck up. There, and you have to. Now, if you're debt free, you can say more than anybody else. I'm not saying that, but there you go. The American dream locks you right the fuck in. How don't it? You're not gonna fucking open your mouth and you have a house payment, a car payment, and you're working for a fucking company. I mean, you may say something, but you won't go to the extent that you would before. 60% of Americans are working for the fucking government, which is bullshit. Now, who the fuck owns who now? You ain't gonna bite the hand that feeds you.
y'all two.
No, I'm just telling you, you can't bite the hand that feeds you. If you're working for the government, you're not gonna tell them fuck you because you're in that situation. You lose your house, your car, and your wife. No one wants to do that.
Small.
You can't. I mean, literally in society, you can't. I'm not against you or anything. I'm just saying we let, like you said, we let the tail wag the dog too goddamn long. That movie wasn't too far off. You've probably seen it.
I work for the people, not the government.
With Dustin Hoffman?
No.
Oh, damn, you called me fucking
Wag the dog, yeah.
whack the dogs. And it's so fucking real. It's set up on the basis of the first flight.
First mission. Is there any?
No, what I'm saying is it's set up in Hollywood.
Oh.
They want to get money for this stuff, so they put it on the news. This little town over here in Europe or somewhere over in Afghanistan or something like that is having this war, and she's like, well, we need to go over and help them. Well, it's all just this fucking thing they made up on TV.
Oh, I can't see that.
Hurting me, man.
I gotta go to
I mean, you
payroll.
can ask
I
all
can't
my
make it.
friends. I will never work for a government job. I will never do it besides rent. I could. I just choose not to. Yeah, I know what I'm
I'll
capable
be
of.
back for another one later.
Alright, brother.
Take care,
Yeah,
guys.
today.
Could have had this on 10 minutes ago. Oh boy. That would have been something. Alright, Kels, I don't want that to break, hon. Come on. I could see that bouncing. Oh my god.
I don't know, it just seems like days are just flying by me. This fucking month just flew by. I can't believe it. Seems like I paid rent like 2 weeks ago.
Right?
Now I'm paying it again.
Yeah, it twisted my back up working too hard and all. Yeah. Be able to pull it out in no time. Yeah, it's really a daggone shame. I mean, it's nothing we don't know anyway. You know, we know it's all fake, right? This dude was talking about, somebody else brought up the stuff. I didn't even have to. And he just started screaming about, yeah, these are my, I can see better at it. He's doing payroll, so, you know, where are these suckers? I don't know why I make excuses for that. He just started talking about war. Somebody was saying something about war. I'm like, it's about time for me to get out of here. And the guy just started saying, look, you know what I did in war everywhere? And you know what we all do in war? You go in, you break in people's houses, steal the gold, kill the women and children, and get out. That's what you do in war. Kill everybody. I don't think it was just women and children, but then you get out and you get the gold. And you leave the weapons and all that. We don't care. You know, I'm like, oh, yeah, well, that's. He went off. And he's like, you know what, let's change the subject. He started talking about the moon. It's funny, in a sense. Oh, it is April 1st. This is Easter. I'm a little confused about that. I'm not quite sure because I don't know. March, April. I thought it was the end of April. It was supposed to be. So end of April. Supposed to be Easter, but happy Easter, everybody. And I guess I could mention here that when I assessed those books that were on, I didn't assess them, I looked at them and I never found them before on Amazon. These books like showed up out of nowhere. They didn't necessarily show up out of nowhere. I mean, they simply could have been published privately or through another company. Now, this came to me because that's what I'm doing. I'm going to publish the book myself, sell it myself, and maybe later on put it on Amazon. Probably put it on Amazon. But not right away. And I'm thinking other people may have done the same thing. You know, so just because these books weren't there when I looked it up in December and now like all these books are showing up doesn't mean they just didn't. I mean, yeah, I guess it's strange that there's a good amount of them at all, but it's definitely possible. I mean, it cracks me up because I should have had my book published by the end of 15, but no, not true because I had no idea what was going on and I was, you know, just taking it in, I guess. Maybe by the end of 16, early 17. Could have. But, you know, procrastinated. And then, you know, I have to thank Stash Erickson for putting out her book the way she did because it really inspired me to get going. I was like, yeah, what the heck am I waiting for? And then I had notes. I had a big set of notes sitting there waiting to be written. It's a nice, neat place. This should be interesting. 40 trivia questions. And 10 drawings. 20 of those questions are probably going to be spelling. I don't know how to word half the questions, so I'm not steering people in directions. Name the TV show that there was 4 girls running around New York City that starred, whatever that woman's name is. You know, that could work. All right.
So when you go out in the city and you go out about 5 miles, you can see the curvature of the earth.
You think, huh?
Oh.
People see it when they fly too. I don't know. I don't know. It might be. It might. If it's a ball, it's a lot bigger than their tonus, which means they're hiding land. Come on, man.
They might be.
Right? Right?
Our government does a lot of weird shit.
Yeah, well.
No, I don't know what they do over there. They
Over
do a lot
there.
of shit.
Over there. It's from New York. Over there.
But I'm telling you, but I'm pretty sure it's freaking round. My timeline.
In your timeline, we actually went to the moon.
Hell yeah, man.
All right. I'm here at the hot springs, and I just gotta make this quick video because I'm on a trail out there, and there's not a lot of them. There's only, I've only seen maybe 3 or 4. But this one was strange. I've noticed this before, where there was a clear line in front of the airplane, and it was like covering it up with the. So it's like there was how else to put it. It was a clear blank line of sky straight through, and it was like ahead. It was behind it, and that's what it was doing there. And it looks like I got another one over here, but this one's not doing that. And when I got here, it takes me about 40 minutes to get here. I noticed the lighting changed. The sun's light, I don't know, it just got brighter, whiter, clearer. It's like a different ray maybe, or I don't know what I'm talking about. Things I don't understand. But it did definitely. And also wanted to mention that the whole month of February was absolutely very positive, whether it was a shift or whatever it was. It was a very positive month, and I think that's where we're going to. That's where we're headed. I mean, that was like a sample. I don't know, put it that way. I feel like people are getting pushed into where they need to be now.
I'd like to finish it, but I don't know if I can.
Not tonight, you're not. I ain't staying up that late.
Yeah, I hear you. No, I hear you, bro.
Hi, man.
And I don't want to mess it all up for you.
Yeah.
But I got up to 21.
Well, I got Jade editing it on Word, so.
She should.
Yeah.
There's a couple of them over there that need editing.
I know. I went over it 6 times. I can't believe some of the words. I was like, oh my God. I
No,
didn't
and
mean
there's
to spell
a couple
that.
paragraph problems, but I'm no English teacher. I would like to read the whole goddamn thing.
You will.
And, dude, you're gonna do well.
You think? You like it? What are you up to?
You
Page
need to
20?
clean it up. You
Well,
need to clean it up a little bit.
it's
on
being
some
edited.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Somebody will do that.
Publisher. I got Jade editing it. The publisher, it's funny, the publisher told me if there's minor mistakes like the word there, and there spelled different ways, they would fix that in a second. Like some kind of program that takes care of that. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, let Jade run.
I'm gonna
There's
do, yeah.
a couple of things that I got confused on, but other than that,
Oh, confusing.
I'm having fun with it. I want to take it home, because I don't know if I get through all this. I want to continue reading it.
You're welcome to. Go ahead.
How long did that take you to do?
I started in like August, and then in October when they gave me the promotion, I put it down. I couldn't finish it. This thing would have been published in January if I could have just stayed with it, but I didn't have the time.
I may not even come back to this.
More liquor?
Hey, Toby left, right?
Yeah. Why? Yeah, go ahead. He wouldn't care anyway. The back's closed. You go smoke back there. Go ahead.
Yeah, I know.
It's all dark. I let you smoke.
But I gotta show a little respect.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh no, this is an awesome book. It doesn't even matter what it's about. It's the fact that it's explaining your whole mind, your whole mindset.
Wow.
Because it really doesn't matter what it's about. It's all about your concept. See, and I couldn't get to the end of it.
Well, no. I mean, you're here for an hour or two. What are you going to do? Read a whole book?
I read it up to page, like solidly up to page 16.
Oh, okay.
And that was a solid read. And then I started skipping around. And then I just jumped chapters just to see what they were about. Awesome.
You're awesome too, thanks.
No, I'm serious. I want this son of a bitch.
Okay, the trivia. See, now, like I was saying before, there's some negative things that look like they're going on for people, but it's a learning experience. They're supposed to be learning. This is supposed to push them forward into getting into a position where they need to be. There's things going on that they're doing that they don't need to be doing or shouldn't be doing. That's just how I feel about it. Now, the trivia night has been postponed 3 times, and it looked like a very positive thing for me because I'm getting the books on the 18th or no later than the 18th. And on the 19th, I'm supposed to have the trivia and then a book signing afterwards. How exciting, right? Well, I just find out that they're going to be closing down. There's legal stuff going on, and they got to shut it down on the 12th. So it'll be postponed again. Possibly not. I may just do it at the Dollar. The girl said they'd fill in for me going next door. So why not me just do it in the back of the Dollar and have a book signing and stuff? I think that could work. But the point is, he's taking it very positive. He's like, "Why? What are you going to do?" He's like, "Well, I'm okay. I got things. I got things lined up. I need this amount of money each year, and I could work it. It's not a thing. I'm gonna have a good summer." And he's very positive about it. And I think that's exactly what you need to do. If there's something on your life going on, especially now, I mean, for me, I'm saying this is the full moon, the blue moon, and it's in a month where we usually see changes. We usually notice a Mandela effect. We see a shift, or March and September. Okay, so we got the blue moon, the second full moon of the March, and I felt some things. There was probably some sort of shift. I expected and expect something different other than just seeing changes. I think it'll be a little bit. I don't think it's going to be as mild as it has been, even though it's not real mild when it first hit you. When it first hits you, it's not mild at all. So I guess, I doubt anybody be up here for that anyway, but I'm still going to shoot that for the 19th, and I'm going to try and film it live. Might be tough if they're playing music in the other room and it's coming on, I may not. Or, I mean, just shut the music off and make it a trivia night and everybody get drinks and, spend money, make it a thing, make it like a show. I may do that. But Prince started all this with the consciousness of who's shifting. It's you that is shifting. We're all shifting individually. Is it because I put up a video, you listen to it, and then you shift because I make you the observer? Somebody does it to me. I look at a video. Oh, there's a shift. Boom, I just shifted. Because it's quantum. So everybody's doing this at their own time. So, yeah, we're all going to be shifting individually. But I think it's about coming to a point where we shift collectively, and we all need to understand what we're doing individually so we can do it collectively and have this new earth, this paradise that what we should be living the way we should be living. All right, thanks for listening. I believe I'm going to have a show. I'm definitely going to have a show this week. I don't know exactly what time. I'm always shooting for Wednesday morning, 2 a.m. Could be around that area. I might come on a few hours earlier. I may come on a few hours later. I might come on at 6 in the morning. Who knows? But I'm saying I always shoot for 2 a.m. and I try and accommodate my guests and along with myself. I won't be getting a day off until I think April 15th is my next day off. I haven't had one for a week and a half. I mean, it's I get my periods in between, but it's not a day off. So things are really tight for me now, but I'm still trying to shoot for that mind beyond matter show. I kind of like that. I like how it works out. I don't really plan it out. I just bring the guest on, and hopefully it's somebody that likes to talk that you can hear because the sound works. All right. Suso out.
No, listen, you gotta give me the time. I did a test run on this thing. It took me 20 minutes. I thought maybe push it 18, but you gotta give me these. Let's give me 15 minutes.
Okay, so I'm driving down the street and I'm passing O'Reilly Auto Parts, and I'm looking at the S on the end of parts, thinking, wow, something looks weird, but I know that's what it said. And looking at the sign, I'm like, something's different. The sign changed. It's now, I remember it just being a white sign with green lettering, and now it's a red sign with white and green lettering. And I'm seriously considering going in and asking them when they change their sign, because that could be all it is, you know. So let's find out. Shall we? Stupid question.
What's up?
When did you guys change your sign out front?
When did we?
Yeah, did you?
I don't know. You mean that like street sign?
Yeah, the one O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Yeah, I think it's always been that one.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Have we ever changed it?
Is the sign new out front? I know it's a stupid question. I'm the guy that asks stupid questions.
That's not a stupid question.
They changed it like 2 months ago because the lights were broken.
So it did used to be white and just green lettering.
2 months ago? I was even working here and I didn't notice.
2 months or like 6 months ago. I don't remember, but they did.
2 months ago or 6 months ago. Well, that
Somewhere
itself
in that
could be
neighborhood.
interesting, I suppose. So they did change it. All right. I'm just noticing it now. All right.
Yes. Might be a hum here. I've been wanting to get this out. I've been talking with some people about it, and I'd like to actually do a show on it. I may do that. Recently, I'd say maybe a month. And not so much right this second either, but I'd say the last 3 weeks. I've been really wanting to just sit down, watch a movie, and just distract myself. I do it with baseball a little bit here and there, but I seem to have control over it, and I think that's total bullshit. But recently I've been wanting to just put this down, pack this up, mail it to somebody who's doing Mandela Effect videos, and be done with it. But why? How do you do that? You can't go back to the ball. I tried it in 2015 when this stuff started hitting me. You know, I decided I'm just going to go about my life. This is ridiculous. And for 2 weeks I was very depressed. Until I just went, you know, on YouTube and I'm checking things out, and this flat earth video comes out and I'm watching it and I'm like, you know what? I just got excited again, and it wasn't about the flat earth. I mean, it was just the idea, okay, that this was something that isn't true, and I figured out that it's not true, and I went back to it. And I was wondering why I was depressed. So that happened in 15, and I'd say 17 again. Early 17, but I pushed on. You know, I've witnessed and I've been called, so I'm going to do what I can do to show truth. And I don't even know what the truth is. You know, it's hard enough trying to explain to people the Mandela Effect and what it probably is, or what the closest thing it could be. Because, I mean, I love my theories. I love what's going on with that. I'm doing well. You know, there's people out there, I'm not naming names. I like these people, so I'm not naming names. And that's another thing. I'm going to have 10 different topics here, and I'm not going to get anything out. We disagree with things. I mean, disagree. I don't know if it's disagree. This person doesn't feel that my theory about A is true. But A is working. I don't feel that this person's theory on B is true. But for them, it's working. Okay? The little clique that I'm in, and I'm trying to make it grow. And I'm making it grow because a lot of these people, I want to make it grow because a lot of these people don't necessarily believe the same thing. And we all get along just fine. We might have our little moments here and there, but we all get along fine. There's no fighting and very little ego and very I'm right, you're wrong going on. Okay, it's, you know, I'd love to give examples that make it easier for you to understand. It's the echo. I keep stuttering because of the echo. That push to get out, it's not really there anymore. Now, I was just talking to Scarab Performance, and he said they're guaranteed 100%. He's sure there was a shift. And I felt something within the last week, and it's been very mild. My shifts seem to be more mild, as far as I'm not fighting off the negativity so much. And, you know, they said there was a shift. And I've been telling people since last February, look, I've been practicing, I've been experimenting with creating. And at first I failed. And I told people, yeah, I failed. You know, this is why I failed, because I went out there to get something I truly didn't want. That's what happened. I went out there to get something I really didn't want. And it didn't happen. So what happened? I actually did create. It created me not getting something. And then learning from that and trying to figure out why. And that's where I came up with, well, what was in my head wasn't lined up with my heart. And then, so I've started creating, and I believe that. And I'm tired of saying, well, I feel like I've created, but maybe it's just a coincidence. Or maybe the computer program is making me think I created properly. I don't think it knows that much of what's going on down here. Down here. I don't know why that's in parentheses in my head. Well, I'm coming up with all kinds of stuff with that. No, I even think the background people that you run into that are, you know, they're looking at you, I think they may know. I think they may know what they are. I think they're sentient, they're conscious. Do they have souls? To me, that's what sentient is. And why not? It's a creation from God. Why would God create something and then just poof it out? I mean, look, infinite, so yeah, somewhere. But I feel like we got to push on. A lot of people I've spoken with have been wanting to get out. I've noticed some people have got out, or at least have tried. And the handful of people that I spoke with are still doing it, but they really feel like, I don't know if it's they want to break or if they just want to get out altogether, because I would love nothing more than to find me a little house with a white picket fence. And if you were listening to the last video, of course you know, you get locked in. You're locked in and you have to do whatever they say because you have the mortgage, the wife, and the car payment, and all these bills. But the point is, look, fight. You wake up and you're like, I'm done with Mandela. I'm done with all this changing, shifting stuff. Bullshit. You're getting pulled back into 3D reality. And I say fight it. I don't necessarily mean fight. Okay? But this could be that battle. For me, it was a battle. And I won because here I am doing this. And that's what I'm going to continue doing. Doesn't matter. Now, I'm still doing those shows. And the shows that I do, I know I started 2 a.m. Wednesday mornings, but I'm going to be going on whenever. If I get a guest, I'm going to tell them when I like to go on, because that's when I'm up. And there's a few people across the country that are insomniacs, so. And after you experience the Mandela Effect and some of the other things that I've experienced, yeah, you have trouble sleeping sometimes. And I feel like I might have gotten too complacent with a lot of this. I'm like, okay, physical reality is malleable. It shifts, it changes, and you can control it. Let me buy a bunch of junk and put it around me and start a radio program. I'm only doing this to get the truth out. And that's all any of us are doing. And I'm just saying, as far as getting that feeling that you really just want to just put it away. That could be some sort of download. And the only reason, and I just use that term, I don't know what other term to use. I don't know that it's a download, it's a program, whatever it is. It could be information from a higher power. It happened all at the same time. Everybody wanted to get out at the same time. And that really struck me. So I'm kind of pulled out a little. I did. Of course, I couldn't edit and put the stuff up I wanted, like you've been getting all them old videos. And I tried not to do too many videos, because I know I couldn't put them up, not the way I wanted to. Now that I can, but I gave myself a little break. But no, because even when I wasn't making videos, I kept in contact with the people that are involved in the Mandela Effect. Not just on YouTube. So, but I'm saying fight. Fight that urge. And, I'm down at the bar and I'll be talking with somebody and I'm like, I should really bring up the yield sign and Sex in the City. And I'm like, I really don't feel like getting into it. If they see the shirt, if they want to ask, they can ask. And then I'll go ahead. But I did that today, and I did Yield Sign, Sex in the City, and the Monopoly Man. Girl said she heard about it, and hey, I'll make sure I put this video with the girl and the two girls. I'm gonna put it on right now.
I think it's from Norway. Called Dark or Darkness or something, and I think it's based off of that because it's a whole time travel type of altering history type of thing.
Yeah? Do you remember how many people were in the car when JFK was murdered? No? Do you know what color a yield sign is?
The yield sign is yellow.
Do you agree?
I'm like, I don't know, you're freaking me out with the phone.
I'm taping you.
I know, that's why I'm like.
Well, I'll explain why later, and if you don't want me to, I won't. I'll erase it right in front of you. I don't care. The yield sign hasn't been yellow since '72. Why would you think it's yellow? It's actually red. It's an upside down triangle that's red. I remember a yellow diamond
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Okay, so I'm old.
No, it has nothing to do with it. Honest to God, that has nothing to do with it. We all remember a yellow yield sign.
Yeah, that's all I remember.
That's what it was. I mean, there's a TV show with 4 girls that run around New York City called Sex something. I can't remember.
Sex in the City.
It's
In the city.
What is it? In or and? I mean, that's
And.
okay.
Sex
It is
in the
and
city.
in this timeline. Did you hear that? And I remember in, and many people remember in.
I thought it was in.
In. It was in. It
I
actually.
always thought it was in until I watched it again. I watched the old shows again.
And you realize,
it's Sex
and you just, and your mind just turned around and went, "Oh, I looked at that wrong. I misremembered." In truth, and this is just a theory, but I'll tell you right now, it's pretty accurate. It's probably not right, but it's pretty accurate. In truth, what happened was your consciousness is the only thing that's real, and it was in a timeline where it was Sex in the City. I'm 100% sure it was Sex in the City. But our consciousness shifted. Now, whether you did it yourself individually, which I believe you can, I have myself, or if you did it as a mass shift, which has just happened yesterday, from what I understand. There was one at the beginning of January, end of January, beginning of March, end of March. I mean, that's how it's been happening. But they're closer together. In 15, I recognized 2 shifts. One in March, one in September. And then last year was a couple more in between the March and September. March and September seem to be the biggest shifts. That's what I'm calling them. It's a terminology. I don't know what's real. I don't know what's right. Nothing's real. Nothing they told you is true. Physical reality is malleable. It shifts and it changes. I mean, I could sit here and tell you about all the, like, did the Monopoly man wear glasses, a monocle, or nothing at all? Does he? The monocle? Remember a monocle? He's never worn a monocle in this timeline. In this timeline, he's never worn a monocle. But you're not wrong. You experienced consciousness, reality, in a timeline where he wore a monocle. It's that simple.
I see what you're saying.
I ate Skippy peanut butter, not often. I ate Jif a little bit, and I ate Jiffy my whole life because it was the cheapest and it sucked. Jiffy never existed. I mean,
I don't know about that one. I really was too much into peanut butter, so.
but that.
I remember Jiffy too.
Yeah, it's amazing some of the stuff that goes on. You cannot find residual evidence of Jiffy, but you can find residual evidence of some other things. Because what happened was somebody else remembered it that way, shifted, and then on a job painted the word Anheuser wrong across the street in the 1890s or early 1900s. It's across the street. There's a letter that's wrong. It's AI over there. It's never been AI in this timeline, and I couldn't tell you how it was ever spelled. I never really looked at it. I mean, it's Chevrolet is spelled differently to me. The Ford symbol has changed 5 times in the last 3 years for me. Well, see, the thing is, and when I noticed the first change, it was that little curly Q in the middle. I'm like, where'd that come from? I was a little more involved in that. It wasn't the first thing I noticed because I saw something else, but it would get too complicated to explain. I'm not entirely upset with that. I mean, especially since I knew the guy, they expect me to ask stupid questions, right? They're not stupid questions. We know that. But I'm not entirely upset with that. The girl couldn't remember if it was 2 months or 6 months ago. I don't know. I think that's a pretty big deal. She didn't know how to answer at first, which I thought was strange. But apparently it was white with green lettering, and it's because the lights were flickering, and that's why they shut it off. Well, all right, I'm off. People were in the car when JFK was murdered. 3, 5, and 2. The correct answer is, the survey says, 6.
There were 3 people in the car?
In this timeline, there's 6. You're not wrong. Your consciousness resided in a timeline where there was 3. My consciousness resided in a timeline where there was 4. His timeline, he resided in a consciousness where it was 5, and I don't know how many you said. You said 2, so Jackie was driving.
Yeah.
And
my girl.
Oh, Jackie was in the fucking back.
My main bitch.
Also, it was 20 years before my timeline ever started.
Oh, well, that could be true too, but still, you'd know the difference between 3 and 6.
I would hope so.
Okay.
Typically.
There's actually 6 in this timeline. In this timeline, there's always been 6. It didn't change. You
Sometimes
changed.
I see doubles.
Oh, well, what are you drinking? Riley thing. I'm not upset about that because, number one, I want to know, if it's a definite Mandela or not, definite effect, or if they did change it. It was a little strange with the whole time thing and all, but no, if it's not, now if every O'Reilly Auto Parts sign in the country is red because this one sign was, blinking off and on, I'd find that a little strange. But I'm not all over the rest of the country. I'd check your O'Reilly Auto Parts store and let me know if the sign's red with green and white writing. I don't know. I don't care. It doesn't matter because we already know, right? So what are we doing about it now? Are we supposed to be doing something about it? Are we supposed to be creating? Are we supposed to be just living our lives and not really being concerned about it? Or are we supposed to be concerned about it? Are there messages? And if there are messages, well, what are they? And it's a shame because if there are changes being manipulated, which we believe there are, I feel there are, or whatever, some of them are coming from positive, some of them are coming from negative. So how do you discern which is which? I just wrote that book. That's the proof. I just sent the final draft to the publisher. It'll be here on the 12th, 13th, or 14th. But the Mandela Effect is not the only thing I experienced in 2015. There was a good 8 or 9 other weird paranormal supernatural experiences that took place that I just wrote about in this book. And the book's fantastic as far as I'm concerned, except that I am all over the place. That was my writing style for this. I also write like I'm talking, so it's not perfect, English. And I told the editor that too. I said, look, do me a favor. Don't take away the spirit. Don't take away my heart. There's going to be sentences that are, you could absolutely make sound better. But if it sounds like I'm talking, just let it go. So, but, she did a great job. This morning I sent it off, the final draft and everything. So, very excited. Thank you. Very excited. This should be fun. But physical reality is malleable. It shifts, it changes, and I feel and I believe that I've been doing. You can actually create what you want. At least that's my opinion. Other people don't think so, and I personally, I think that's why they're having a hard time right now because they don't. Or just like on accident? No, and it's funny. I've never done acid. People keep telling me I should. I was like, why would I? I experienced the stuff without it. How you guys doing? Best day of my life. Yeah, really. She told me that she found it. She heard about the Mandela Effect on the X-Files. And they made it look stupid, and Google tells everybody it's misremembering, and Snopes or whatever it's called is, totally debunking it. Forget Wiki or whatever that, Wikipedia, forget that, it's still in the same thing. Can I get you guys? I know I've said it. There's people I stay away from listening to on YouTube because I feel like they're fear-mongering, or I've said they're fear-mongering. And every once in a while I click in if the title looks interesting or if it looks like it's not going in that direction. And it's not even that they're fear-mongering. It's like, I feel like, well, I'm guilty of this. It's not right. I shouldn't say they're fear-mongering because they're really not. It may seem that way. But what I think is happening is I think there are parts of them, aspects of them, stuck in 3D. And, that goes for all of us right now. I don't know if we're stuck in 3D or, if something's definitely different. We all know that. So, is it different and that's just the way it is? Because, like I always said, it was always like this, we just never noticed. And it's not, it hasn't always been like this. If we haven't noticed this, then no, we really believed we lived in a solid 3D world, and, that was linear and the whole bit. And I think we might just be listening to aspects of them, parts of them that we need to listen to. That might, if we're listening to that stuff, then there might be something there that we have to listen to. I steer away from it. I'm not going to pollute my mind with that stuff. And maybe listening to it is going to trigger you to stop listening to it. I mean, that could be. But I don't necessarily think they're fear-mongering. And I want to steer myself away from saying that, stating that. It's more that they're just deeper into three-dimensional than some others. Found a Mandela Effect. It's on the advertisements behind the batter. Stanley now has that line through the end, which makes it look like that upside down V.
3:54 in the second half.
It should be coming on. There you go. Now, I'm not saying I ain't looked it up, so I don't know if it was that way forever, or if it's changed, or if they just changed the logo, because that's always a possibility.
I got chilled. I am so excited about that. I feel like I hit the big time. I've had chills before. They were never this good. I don't know, he's pretty good. But it didn't upset me. I thought it would get me all upset and I'm going to retaliate and all that. I just delete you from my channel. Why are you listening to my stuff? And there's no way you listen to the whole video. Not a chance. You have no idea what you're talking about, Shilly. Of course, you'll never see my channel again. I can't help you. I'm not bearing witness to all this stuff for you. Okay? Piss off. That was mild. I want to read it. I think. I don't know. I don't really care. I really don't. It's just, what a waste of your time. Call me a fake. I'm a fake because of the way I talk. I'm a fake because of the way I present myself. And something about my last name. My channel's name is Suso, which is not my last name. It's my nickname. Suso is my nickname. Everybody's always called me Sus, or Suso, depending on which timeline you're in. And he did say, you associate yourself with all the other fake Mandela people. You're not going to see the comment because I'll be getting rid of that. I don't understand. They got to be being paid. I mean, if you're not affected by the Mandela Effect, move on. There are tens of thousands of crazy people in the world that you should probably stay away from because they're crazy. You didn't help me, Annie, by commenting like that. Next time, if you have some constructive criticism, then maybe you'll help me. Maybe you'll get me away from this and make me sane again by coming on and calling me names and telling me I'm a fake. I'm one of the most real, I can't speak. I'm one of the most realist people, I still can't speak, on YouTube. I'm fake. You think I'm fake? Use it for entertainment purposes only. I keep stuttering because the echo's in my ear. And I'm hearing that, and I should probably take these off. Well, what a joke. I felt sorry for the person, but I don't. At first I was angry, and look, Buddha got angry, Jesus got angry, and the name, okay, this person's name is I Am. How sad. How sad for this shilly little person. I'm going to quickly add Yeah, I'm in a good spot. I'm in a good position where I'm doing well. I ain't doing great. Like, I mean, I'm doing well. I'm doing better than I ever have. And it's because of the position I've put myself in. But guess what? I mean, I'm working hard. There's hard work behind that. I'm just not sitting on my ass. I'm working all the time. I'm doing 60 hours a week and 50 to 60 hours a week. You know, and I lowball. I only pay myself for 40. Yeah, I'm the finance manager here. That's basically what I've called myself because that's what I'm doing. So, it's not easy work. It's not easy work, but I'm really enjoying it. This is something I've always wanted to do. I'm loving this. I'm enjoying it. So there's just a constant flow because I'm enjoying it. That's where my energy is. That's the energy I'm putting out. That's what I'm surrounding myself with, and that's what I'm experiencing.
Something else I was wanting to bring up is the signs, the speed limit signs. Now, I've been on this road before, and I remember, you know, I'd be going down the road. I knew when it went to 65, when it went down to 55, when it went to 50. I knew exactly when, and it would change. The areas would be different. It would make sense some places, and it wouldn't other places. And that could be totally explained away. I mean, you know, different seasons, different speed limits, they're going to change it. But I realized this has happened in other places too. You know, where it will go from 65 to 55 out here, and stay that way for. It had nothing to do with the seasons. And you know, I'm not going to sit here and justify everything as a Mandela effect. You know, but it's not that it's not impossible. About that O'Reilly's Auto Parts. That girl, I've been in there before and talked to them people before because there was one girl in there that was affected, and you know she remembered the S on the end of O'Reilly. I did it in one of my videos, and I remember that other girl being there and being kind of weirded out by it. And I'm wondering if she just went ahead and quickly justified it. That's one of the reasons why I'm curious about what other people are saying on these O'Reilly signs. That's all. Big deal. About that.
One of the things I started to talk about was how I'm doing. I'm not struggling anymore. And it's not, you know, I was talking about that. And I really feel like I created it. I really feel like I I really feel like I guided my consciousness into a timeline where I wasn't going to struggle. And I had a choice. I mean, there was quite a few times where I could have been out on the street. I've never been out on the street. The closest I came was walking out on a roommate who I needed to walk out on. I needed to do more than just walk out, but I just walked out. 5 in the morning, didn't take me long to pack. And I was about to sleep in my car, and I decided, well, let me go park the car in this casino garage parking lot. And I said, I got $5. Let me go have a beer, and I'll come back to the car. I go down. I'm sitting in front of a slot machine at a bar, and I hand the guy that threw the $5 out. I said, give me a beer, whatever it was. And he says, if you put the $5 in there in the slot machine, the beer's free. Well, the whole time I said, okay, so I'm just messing around. One credit, 5 credits, 3 credits, 2. I'm doing them all. I'm just mixing them all up all around. It's a shame I didn't have the 5 credits in when I hit the 4 aces. It would have been quite a sum. But what it was enough for me to get a room that night and, you know, play a little poker and just, you know, whatever. I mean, this is couple of years before Mandela Effect, maybe a year before. That's the closest I ever came to living on the street, living out of my car. In February of last year, I started testing ways to create. Yes, I used New Age information. A lot of that could be close to what you really need to do. I don't know. That's what I started with. I went within. I've heard that somewhere. I went within, and I chose things that I felt were real and that would help me. And this is what I've come up with. I mean, I started testing it, and I failed, and which was a success because I realized I actually did create. You know, I realized where I made the mistakes. They were mistakes for what I actually felt like I wanted, but I got what I was creating. And when I realized that, I changed it up to the point where now it's not a formula. I mean, I take, you line your mind up with your heart, you lay down, you sit down, whatever, you picture what it is, as if that's what it is. You feel it. Feel the sand on your feet. Feel the wind in your hair. Whatever it is, you know it, believe it, and then let it go. And let it go it wasn't an easy one for me because I didn't understand let it go. But now it's something that it seems I can only express it properly once in a while. Guess I'll have to read my book. I'm betting it's in there. It's there, but it's there. You don't have to focus on it. You don't have to dwell on it. You did it. And the best way I found to let go is to start creating something else. Line something up with your head and lay down, do it, let it go. And you're also not going to tell anybody. You keep it to yourself. It's nobody's business. Once you tell somebody what you're doing, the first thing that they're going to do is doubt you, and that's sending negative energy towards your creation, which is going to impede it, or stop it, or put it in another direction, and you just keep it to yourself. It's nobody's business. Thing is, I mean, if you're going to create a bag of hundreds, that's got to be what you really desire. That's probably not what you desire. What you desire may be financial freedom, may be the love of your life, and you're avoiding that. You know, how many of us are going, oh, I would love that? Well, yeah, you would love that, but what do you want? Right, you need to start, and it's not easy at first. You got to get used to thinking with your heart. And I don't do it all the time now. I'm still trying to get used to it. I'm still 3D in a sense. I'm not completely 3D, believe me. But I have no idea what it'd be like to be 5D. And these are just terms I really don't know. I've heard people speculate and say what they feel. I also really wanted to put this out because, well, the last video you saw, probably with other videos in between, the only thing I feel that people putting the truth out even if it's just, hey, we don't know what the truth is. The only thing I feel we should be doing is putting out the videos, doing our live shows, and communicating with people who genuinely need our help. The people that are out there just watching the videos and not interacting with us, that's fine, you know, but they may have questions, and some of these people may be frightened, and you know, we need to interact with them, and that's fine. As far as the outside, interact with them. Don't interact with, I mean, yeah, they're the people, yeah, eventually, they're going to get it when they get it, and it's quantum, okay? I mean, do the best you can, but when it starts to compromise your well-being, you know, stop. Now, me, I've never dealt with them. I had some troll thing come in. I usually read it as soon as I realize it's a troll. I check their channel, see how many videos they have. You know, these people are doing their own thing. Are they doing it for money, or are they doing it to truly stop the Mandela Effect movement? I don't know. I don't care. You know, I was saying, oh, I hit the big time because I got a troll. And what he said was pretty good, because for a while there, I wasn't sure whether it was a troll or not. And when I realized the emotion it pulled out of me, wow. That was, you know, I shut it down. I stopped it by deleting him completely, like I have from the beginning. And I'll keep doing it. And yeah, and it wouldn't even matter. There are some people, probably quite a few, that have had content on their channel, and I check it out, and it's usually nothing to do with Mandela Effects or Flat Earth or any other supernatural paranormal thing. It's just gaming or, you know, some other distraction. It's another way for them to try and make money or whatever it is. But I delete them too. I don't care. That's why I appreciate all the people with the hammers. Go ahead and hammer them out. Don't even question it if I'm in a live chat there. And I really didn't want to get into that, because that's negative. All I was trying to say is, look, let's do the videos, let's communicate with each other, and communicate with people that genuinely need our help. If we find that they're just, you know, not into the Mandela Effect, don't understand it, let them, they'll ask. Eventually they're going to ask, you know, hey, what's going on? I can't take this. Eventually that's going to happen. Some people need to let that happen. That's what they need. I mean, if that's what they need, we can't force them. I think we should be just doing videos. I think if you're involved in the live shows and you're in the chats and you've had experiences, get on a video and do it. You don't have to show your face. There's quite a few people out there that are doing videos that don't show their face. Some of them don't even use their voice. Some of them, there's one in particular I want to get on the show. Let's see what happens. I lost track here. Yeah, just do the positive stuff. I wrote something down here that I thought was pretty interesting. All the people out in the world, I don't remember what it is, by the way, and not of it, the sheep, those on timelines or dimensions where we still live on a ball, have no idea what is going on. How do we get them to shift towards a more accurate timeline / dimension? Ask me about the Mandela Effect. I was thinking about getting a t-shirt that says ask me about the Mandela Effect, and I thought, all right, people may, but what's another way to get their attention? And I think this would be too much to put on a t-shirt. If you are truly happy and satisfied with your life, truly happy in your heart, then don't ask me about the Mandela Effect. And where these people eat. Could any of these people lost on other timelines actually be happy in their souls, in their hearts? Not a chance. Not a chance. You know, so I don't know. I don't know where all that came from, but that was interesting. So my daughter is rewatching the Harry Potter movies, and one of the girls next door in the restaurant that's going to be closing on the 12th. Bummer. That is sad for me. I'm not happy with that. I wonder if I could. My daughter's watching the Harry Potter movies over again. She'll read the book and then she'll watch the movie. So she did it with the first one, and she found the Mandela Effect. Because she told me, she's like, Dad, it was weird because I heard it, and I went, no, that's not what they said, was it? No, they said it this way. And I give it to you here. You get this in a couple of days. I'll probably mention it on my show tomorrow night, which will be past by the time you get this. Hagrid. We know about the blank stone. Blank. We know about the blank stone. What's the blank? Now, I can already hear you because I know there's the English version of the book and the American version of the book. Excuse me. I don't know if there's other versions. I know of those two, but when we watch the videos in America, we get American versions. Now, what I should have asked my daughter is how old's the tape? Does it read the back? You know, find out if it's the American version or the English version. I mentioned it in a text. I forget to reply. She probably something like she didn't think of that. But no doubt in my mind, what she told me, 100%, the way I remember it is, Hagrid, we know about the stone. And what they say, I'm 100% sure that's what it was. I'll let you go figure it out. Write down what you think it was, and tomorrow, and that show that just passed. This is getting so long, I might just put this up. Yeah, I'm not going to say what it is. I'm going to let you figure it out. Because Hagrid, we know about the blank stone. Now, there's two choices, and if you know about Harry Potter, then you know what the two choices are, I would think. Or maybe you don't. Maybe you just know the one that it was for the American version. But the thing is, as far as the movie goes, I don't think there was another version. I think it was what it was. When they did add parts to it, so did they change it? I mean, why would you bother? You know, Harry Potter, the title of the book is, the American version is different than the title of the English version. Okay, but the movies were the same. As far as I know, The movies were the same in the timeline where I saw the first Harry Potter movie. And I have my daughter, well, I don't have her, she was going to do it anyway. She's watching all the movies, reading the book, watching the movies, right through. So she's watching, she's being alert. So, I was talking earlier about the girls at the bar. I don't know. She mentioned that, I asked her, I showed her the shirt. Do you know what this is? I heard about that recently. And I don't know where. She kept saying, I don't know where. I don't know where I heard it. But I have heard about that. And we talked a little more. And she said, I'm going to put the video after this. She said, no, I already did because I said I did it in the other video. The point here is she heard it on the X-Files, but people are hearing about the Mandela Effect in other areas, which is great. I don't care how they get exposed to it, because eventually they're going to realize it's not misremembering, because I think that's what the girl said. She was like, oh, yeah, it's that thing where you forget things or you misremember. You know, how do thousands of people, tens of thousands of people probably, I don't know how many. I think I might have said how many in another video. I don't know how many. I'll bet it's tens of thousands of people, probably more. Could be hundreds of thousands if we're going to include the Buttercup. No, please. It's probably hundreds of thousands of people if we're including the people who are still blowing it off as totally thinking, oh, that's a Kit Kat never had a dash, that's stupid. And just hit the golf course or whatever. She is pulling one coin out of a out of a cup this big. The cup's this big, and she's sticking her paw in, pulling coins out. I've shifted into another timeline. Because Prince, he's just getting bigger because he's a kitten, right? When he stands up on all four legs, he looks like the legs are the same. When he sits, he's got these long things, but I'm thinking they were always there. I know other people are saying no, but they were always there. That's how they jumped. Of course, I was a cat person my whole life. Even the last 20 years, I wouldn't touch a pet. That's for another video. I owned 5 cats, 2 dogs, a bird, and 4 fish tanks when I was married. Talk about trying to be distracted. Well, I'm going to finish up here with, what I did to create. I've created a position for myself, and I'm tired of saying I think it may be this, it may be that. Look, I consciously created a position for me that I desire. Position in life, just everything I have, and I'm making sure I don't get too content, because once I get content, things are going to change, whether I want them to or not. I've noticed that in the last 3 years. I get content, things change. Boom. Why not harness that? That's what I've done. If you're out there and you're not focusing on what you truly want, what you truly desire, and you're focusing on the news that, we already know that's bullcrap. I'm sure I'd be shocked if there's one person watching this that actually watches the news. You need to try it. Find out what it is you truly desire before, you know, you're you know, a lot of the people on the Mandela Effects that are experiencing Mandela Effects. This is what happened to me in the 80s and 90s when I was all spiritual. It was like, yes, we have to be poor. That's just the way it's got to be because, you know, we're spiritual and we're the right, you know, we're right and all that bullshit. That's where this is coming from. We're the chosen. We're witnessing these things. We need to get the truth out. We need to be poor, and we need to struggle. And I think that's bullshit. You know, like I said, I'm not filthy rich. But if I need something, I always want it, and it's always been that way. No, not always. I'll say mid to late 80s, and that was all New Age stuff. That I took what I felt in my heart. I didn't know that's what I was doing. I just took what I felt was right. You know, so I guess I have some practice feeling with my heart, but I didn't know what I was doing. Now I do. When something happens and I'm not liking it and I'm upset about it, you know, as hard as it is at first anyway, it's hard to go, wait a minute, just stop, just sit down and get that happy feeling, because that is so out there. It's not in here, you know. And if you guys are struggling and you're upset with things, it's not in here. It's not where you're going, man. Go in here, and what you're going to do, which doesn't really matter, but you're just shifting yourself into a timeline. You're shifting your consciousness into a timeline where things are the way you want them. Just, I'm pretty sure if you lay down and just know that by itself, it'll happen. And it may take some time. It took me a year to figure out how to do it. And now it's like, if I want to do it, you know, basically the only thing I do is lay down now. If it's that bad, if it's that strong. Otherwise, I could just do the whole thing in a thought. And no, I'm not peering apples out of my hand or whatever, but I'm just saying. And if nothing else, it changes my attitude and I get in a better mood, and nothing else does matter. You know, it's up until November, December, I was struggling like everybody else that I come in contact with. And now, no, I just said no more. I said no more, and, you know, I mean, what did I do? I consciously did it, though. And when I realized my heart wasn't lined up with my thoughts, my mind, what I thought I desired, when I went to this, that's when everything changed. The quickest thing was a week. You know, and after that, so I'd say, no, you don't have to struggle. Choose not to. And lay down and feel what that would be like. Pull that vibration in and be that. Be that, because it already is. And if we're going to turn it into things we know, it already is in another timeline somewhere. That's what's going on. You're just not conscious of it. That's happening. Shift yourself into that consciousness. You know, you're not going to shift into a timeline where there's wars going on. No. not if you don't want them. I mean, I don't know. All right, I'm out.
It's like characters are different than they normal or used to be. I don't know. I'm sure they just changed them. You know, I'm sure it just happened, but it's still okay.